I'm David J, founding member of Bauhaus and Love and Rockets, two British bands who played a lot in America. Well, certainly Love and Rockets, we played a lot here. A white skating boot comes down hard on the ice. The beautiful young woman in the white sequined outfit, dancing alone and with grace, lost in her own world. She's 18 years old. The blades cleave over the rink. Outside, the Luftwaffe delivers a rain of hellish destruction. High explosive bombs, incendiary bombs, oil bombs, all come crashing down on Birmingham, the second city, place of the defiant girl's birth. When the air raid siren sounded, everyone in the ice hall fled for the shelters, everyone apart from the lady in white. She choosing to stand her ground and skate on in defiance of Hitler's ire. This is a personal, sacred story. This is the cauldron of rebellion wherein roils the noble urge to resist and then to rise. The brave girl was my mother, and for this act of defiance alone, she will always have my heart.
That's incredible.
So that is from a poem in my new poetry book. The poem is entitled The Mother Tree, and it's about my mum, Joan Nancy. I wanted to read that little section there because that really is, it's what as described, that is the basis for my conviction when it comes to resisting authoritarian fascist rule, and that was during the time of the Second World War.
It must feel so surreal.
And here we are.
Happening again.
Now, there's a lot of indicators disturbing, The fascist playbook is being adhered to in America. Who would have thought? But here we are.
What do you think your mother would say if you were having the conversation with her?
God. I think she'd just sort of nod knowingly and wisely and would feel horror that lessons have not been learned, those who forget the past are destined to repeat it and all that.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's so much going on. I know for me, every morning I wake up and it's just this hit of, okay, what's going to happen today? I mean, how are you feeling at this moment in time? It seems to be getting more intense by the day. And I did notice this happening. Living here in LA, it was evident, especially when I would drive through downtown, areas like that, and Culver City, out that way. Of course, wherever there's an immigrant population, especially Hispanic. And of course, that is very prevalent in LA, The Spanish culture is an integral part of the city. And what in particular the Mexicans, what they bring here is, talking of integral, it's an integral part of the fabric of the community and the way things work in LA is a lot to do with those immigrants doing the jobs that the people that are born here would never want to do, and for very little money. And it's very hard work. They work really hard. And I think the fact that some of them do not have the requisite paperwork was overlooked because the benefits far outweigh the negative, possible negativity that could be a result of illegal immigration. You know, it's part and parcel of, as I said, just the way things work here. In the service industry, in agriculture, in so many aspects of society, these people do the good work, and it functioned, you know, really well. I know it's not ideal, and I can understand somebody who's gone through the legal process in order to obtain that paperwork and become legal. I can understand it being a bit of a wind-up maybe. But then again, I think a lot of, particularly the Hispanic community, are tolerant because it's a simple fact that it works. And that the people themselves are good people, you know, they're not criminals. And once they're here, and especially if they are here illegally, it's obviously not in their interest to step out of line and be naughty. You know, they're going to keep their nose clean, but they're inherently inclined to do so anyway. Even if they were here legally, they're the type of person who is just a good neighbor and a good citizen. You know, I know a lot of them.
Yeah.
And they're lovely, you know, and they work bloody hard. They work a lot harder than I do. And I work pretty hard in my way, but not like that.
Yeah, well, like you said, it's jobs too that people don't want to do. No one want, you know, even if it was paying better, still wouldn't want to do it.
No.
It's still the hardest work.
Yeah, really.
And you offer a really unique perspective being an immigrant, and just having the luxury of knowing how other countries work, having seen different ways of living, different government styles. I mean, you moved to the U.S. for a reason, right? Like, you came here. What are your thoughts? Like, is this surprising to you? Is this what you expected? Is it different?
No, did not expect it. And one of the main reasons that I moved here in 1996. And what was very attractive about America was this generosity of spirit. And it was very prevalent. And it was in marked contrast to an attitude that can be quite prevalent in the UK, which is it's a bit negative, you know, and it's sort of this whole thing of don't get above your station. It's suppressive, oppressive. Keep in your place, you know. Don't step out of line. Don't try to aspire. Aspiration is kind of looked down upon, you know. Whereas here, it's the American dream thing, and it's encouraged and applauded, and it's seen when somebody does become self-realized and they achieve a certain position in society. It's seen as an aspirational and inspirational, rather than being begrudged. And that was very much the tone that I perceived when I first moved here. But that's really changed a lot. And I see now that I was certainly living in something of a bubble. I'm still living in a bubble because it's hard not to be in a bubble. But I try to break out of it and look around, you know, outside. And when I do that, it's alarming.
Alarming is the right
But I think that negativity has always been here, but it was suppressed and it was kept down. But now it's been emboldened by by this administration and what the attitude that brought them into power.
Yeah, it's being almost celebrated as a virtue, and people get more power out of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what you're contributing to the Contra-ICE project?
Yeah, well, I put out a single recently, which was this song was an immediate visceral reaction to seeing the ICE kidnappings going on in specifically in LA, but then because I'm here, but then seeing it like elsewhere, and part of what sparked it was the story of this ice cream man, Enrique, in Culver City, and he's the neighborhood ice cream man, much beloved, been doing the job for over 20 years. All the kids adore him. He would give ice creams away, and he was just snatched off the street, literally, and they left his cart there, and the cart became somewhat iconic in a way and symbolic of, first of all, of just the unfair situation, but also quickly following that, it became symbolic of resistance and it's very poignant, a very poignant image. We took that image and animated it in the video. So the cart is, poor Enrique's, being interned. I think it's taken to Texas, but the cart is on the run, and the cart has a personality, and the cart is the character, and the cart is going all over the world, passing through various places that in the past have been associated with authoritarianism. So there's a story there. At the end of it, I go to the actual place where the cart was left abandoned, and lay down I take out I have a guitar case, and I take a bunch of flowers out of the guitar case. There's no guitar in there, it's just some flowers, and lay them in the place where the abduction occurred. Funnily enough, on the day that single was released, I learned that Enrique had been released. So that was nice.
It's amazing.
But it took, he was locked up for a very long time, and his family had no contact with him, didn't know where he was. He's an older gentleman, but he also, that day, he finally got his green card, which he had applied for over 20 years ago, apparently.
Yeah, don't make it easy.
I have a green card. That's, I've always been here on a green card. Well, initially I'd come over on visas, but then once I was living here, I had the green card. Now applying for citizenship.
I thought that the video was really great, and I love that the song centered around this one story, because it's happening so much, right? That's one story in a sea of stories happening every day. And sometimes it's hard. You get really overwhelmed with picking one out, but it's so important. It's so important to lift up.
Yeah, and it makes it personal,
It makes it personal.
So you can identify with that.
And I think that's part of the problem. People it's so easy to just make this us versus them situation. It's a lot harder when you're looking at an individual.
Yes. So the artwork here was done by my friend Shepard Ferry, and Shepard is currently working on a new series of portraits of abductees who have been taken, Mexican people mainly, have been taken by ICE.
Wow.
And I think that's going to be very powerful.
Yeah,